So the lie began from the very beginning of time, right? And I can ask you one question right now. What does history tell us about Africa? Who discovered Africa? If you write right now on Google who discovered Africa, you find out that is one white man that he came and discovered Africa. And you can ask yourself that how can you discover a place that already exists? How can you discover a place that people already live in that place? It is impossible, but that's what the history tells us. That's what people believe about Africa, that it was discovered by a white man. This guy, he came, and then he went back, he gave a report, and then the next we know is colonialism, because those guys, they sat somewhere to divide Africa like a piece of cake, because they discovered it, they own it, it belonged to them. But that is us. We discovered, we're the first people to know. And today you have a lot of people around the world that they think that Africa was discovered by them.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Swahili Nation and the One Africa channel. It has been a long time and now we are back. We thank God we have been having a good day, a good week, and now we thank God that we have been great with the new energy, new spirit. Tukiwa tunataka kuzungumzia yale ambayo yanaendelea ndani ya bara la Afrika, yale yaliyojili katika wiki nzima, lakini kwa siku ya leo tutakuwa na topic moja nzuri sana, mboni one of the mission of Swahili Nation and One Africa. So namshukuru sana Mungu ambaye ametuwezesha katika wiki nzima, amekuwa na sisi, amekuwa akitupigania, na sasa tunakutana siku nyingine, siku ya Jumapili, tukiwa na nguvu, tukiwa tayari kabisa kujadili yale ambayo yanajili ndani ya bara la Afrika, lengo na dhumuni ikiwa ni lile to unite Africa with the love, peace and unity. So today we'll be having a short conversation with one of my brother Chacha. He'll be here soon talking about how are we going to achieve African unity. So Mr. Chacha will be here and he'll be telling us how are we going to achieve African unity. So before that, I want to ask you to do a favor for me. Like, let me do it here. Yes, kusubscribe channel yetu, kulike na kucomment. Hiyo ndo favor ambayo na kuomba wewe ambaye unatufuatilia sasa hivi, naomba unifanyie favor ya kusubscribe channel yetu ya Swahili Nation and One Africa, kisha like video zetu, na video hii ukianza like, baada ya hapo share video hii kwa kila mtu ili message iweze kuwafikia watu wote. Kwenye groups zenu za WhatsApp unaweza ukashare hii video, na zaidi unaweza ukatufuata katika mitandao yetu ya kijamii. On Instagram tunatumia Swahili Nation and One Africa, on Twitter tunatumia Swahili Nation, Facebook pia tunatumia Swahili Nation, ili uweze kuwa updated na taarifa zote ambazo zinakuwa zinajili ndani ya bara la Afrika. One more thing is to donate on Swahili Nation and One Africa offices. Unaweza ukadonate kiasi cha pesa chochote kile ulicho nacho, kwa kusupport ile vision ya Swahili Nation and One Africa tulionayo kwa kuchangia euro 1 au dola 2 au shilingi 1, shilingi 2, hata shilingi 500 sisi tutapokea tu. Lengo na dhumuni ni kufikia ile target ya euro 25, na safari bado ni ndefu sana. So kwa sababu baada ya muda kidogo muda na session nyingine ya mwendetezi atakuwa na session baada ya show hii. So tutatumia muda kidogo ili baadaye na yeye aweze kuja. Lengo na dhumuni ni kudiscuss kwa siku ya leo. Tutakuwa na Mr. Chacha hapa tukijaribu atupe ufafanuzi kidogo, like how are we going to achieve African unity? Do really African wants to unite? And if Africa needs to unite, then how are we going to achieve this? How are we going to achieve this unity? So you can join with us. The link is on in the comment section, and share your views. How are we going to achieve African unity? Hey, my brother Chacha.
Yes, Mr. Paul.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm well.
How are you doing? How was your week?
The week was fine, and it's still fine.
Oh, that's great. So, Mr. Chacha, welcome to Swahili Nation One Africa. Kabla tuja jump out, tuja step in kwenye conversation ya leo, kwenye topic ya leo, ni how are we going to achieve African units? You can introduce yourself for people ambao hawakufahamu na wanatamani kukujua wewe ni nani na unafanya nini. Just a little bit so that we can stop up on the topic of today.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Paul. Called Chacha Sospita Chacha, a Pan-Africanist and an educator. I love Africa. I love my own country, Tanzania, and I have been doing Bachelor of Arts with Education in Tumaini University Makumira. I'm now a former student of Tumaini University Makumira. So I'm just happy to serve Africa, and being in Africa, I just feel privileged with just being on Africa, and that's why I love the continent. I love to talk about the continent. I love to teach others. It has been my profession from when it was my boyhood, it just my spirit talking about Africa, love it, and just teaching others to love Africa and to go in the way that I think it will be good for them to attain the goals that we have been planned for so long. So thank you very much, Brother Paul. I think speaking English is very a little bit difficult.
We'll be
trying. Thank you.
Yes, I know. We'll be trying. Like it's just like to let people to know what we are going to talk about for today. So today we'll be trying to use English much more so that people can understand like what are we going to talk on today, so that even them they can have the room to share their own views. How are we going to achieve African unity? For the people who don't know, Mr. Chacha, he is the former president of one of the best university here in Tanzania, Makumira. Am I right?
Yes, you're right, brother.
That's good.
Yeah.
So thank you, family. You can join with us, and today we are going to talk about how to achieve African unity. How we African are we going to achieve African unity? So please, if you have anything to share, you can comment on the comment section, or you can click the link. I've already sent the link on the comment section, and click that link and come and join with us. Share the views, share what you have in your mind, so that everyone we can understand that how we African are we going to achieve unity. In which way are we going to achieve unity? So say something on the comment section. I'll be passing through all the questions, or if you have something to contribute, you can join with us. The link is on the comment section, and share your views. How we Africa are we going to achieve African unity? So Mr. Chacha, before we go to the exact topic, that's how African are we going to achieve how are we going to achieve the unity? Do you think that Africa country, do we really need to unite ourselves? Like, do we really need that unity before think on how are we going to achieve that unity? Do we really African need that unity?
Yes, we need to unite. Africa needs a unit.
Yes.
Africa needs a unit in the manner that, if one is to just passing through the countries of Africa, just even looking at the economic status that every country in Africa has, that person will come to the solution of which, if one wants to test the solution, he or she will later finalize that unit is the answer. So I
Yeah.
think the unit of Africa is not only required but also demanded by many people of Africa, even if it's wittingly or unwittingly. But I think the unit of Africa is very, very important. What is there now in Africa is what I call, or what was actually being called, divide and rule. So Africa is divided, and in that division, Africa cannot grow. So I think what we need is unit, and once we have that unit, it will be what I call the beginning of the journey of where we want to go. So I think the unit is very, very important for Africa, and that's all.
Oh, that's great. Kwa hiyo Afrika tuna uhitaji tuna uhitaji wa kuwa na muungano, kwa wale wanaweza kunstop kwamba tunahitaji kuwa na huo muungano. That's why inatupaswa tufikirie ni namna gani tunaenda kupata huo umoja wa nchi. So on your thought, let's go direct. Like, how are we Africans? So before that, do you think like okay, you say like we Africa, we need that unity. So do you think that Africa countries, are they ready to achieve that unity? For now, as you can see how the country is now, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Somalia, Ethiopia, are these countries ready to be united? Or you think that there's some countries that they need to be united, others are not ready to be united?
Yeah, first of all, when one talks about the unity of Africa, redness is not the biggest reason in the unity of Africa. What I see today is that the countries of Africa need a unit of Africa, but there are some people who they just like vesting the power of their country, and these are the leaders of those countries. The ambition of the leaders that are there in some of the African countries are not supporting the unit of Africa. So the countries of Africa need unit, but some of the people do not want this unit for their own interest. So I think the countries are ready. And even if they are not ready, the unit of Africa must be there and must be fulfilled in any way. Whether they are ready or they are not ready, we must have this unit of Africa, because um, it has been said in the manner of speaking, the issue of spiritual. I know some of you are Christian here and others are Muslim, but in the case of going to heaven,
Yeah.
there are some people who will be saved unwittingly. There's some people who will be saved in the situation that they didn't want to be saved. So in the journey of heaven, or in the journey of African unit, whether you liked or whether you don't like, we must unite.
Oh, that's good. So it's something that is very important. Whether we Africans or not, we have to unite. That's what you are trying to say. I love that. Nimeipenda hiyo. Like, ni kitu ambacho ni lazima. No matter what, whether you like or not, we Africans, we have to unite. That's good. I love that, Mr. Chacha. So, Mr. Chacha, let's go directly. How are we going to achieve that unity? Like, for your own perception, we Africans, no matter what, we need to unite ourselves. So how are we going to achieve that unity? In which way, which steps that we Africans we have to step up? And if there is something that we Africans we have to do or we have to stop, then which something that then we have to do so that we can achieve African unity?
First of all, I have done just a document of 5 to 6 points to share with you because what I'm doing here is simply sharing. Because I know some of you have experience perhaps, or you have knowledge perhaps much more than I. But what I'm doing here is just to share the experience that I have on how we can achieve the unity of Africa. So I have 6 points to share, and the first point is if you want to achieve the African unity, we need the strong policies. We need the strong policy in the manner that because we are moving on the basis of policy, we are living on the basis of policy. So if the policies are weak, we are going nowhere. So what I see is that we need a strong policy that can enable us, can support us to reach where we want to go. And in the case of policy, when one is to just determine the policies of the African countries, you will come to realize that the policies that we are using now are not supporting the journey of African unity. For instance, in Tanzania, we have the national policy of of youth development of 2007. This is the youth policy. It's not supporting the development of youth in Tanzania. I can give you this example. The policy is in contradiction of other law, is in the policy is in contradiction of other policies. So how can we drive the continent with the policies are in contradiction? The policies contradicts themselves. For instance, we have the Law of Marriage Act of 1971, which supports that a girl aged 15 years can be married with another person. 15. Can you imagine 15 years a girl can be married with another person? And this is in the youth policy. And at the same time, we have what is being called the adolescence reproductive health strategies, which discourage what I call the early marriage. So the police contradicts themselves. The police that advocate youth and the police that advocate children's, they are in a contradiction. So once we update the policies, is the beginning of realization of where I want to go. So I think the police strengthening is the biggest issue that will take us from step to another step. So we are using the policies that are outdated. So I think the first thing that we must do is to change our policies and to strengthening the policies that are outdated or are weak. We have the policies of Nigeria of oil. We have the tourism policies of Rwanda. We have many policies of culture in Rwanda, in Tanzania, of minerals in Tanzania, and other places of Africa. So I think the things that we have to do is to change the policies, to be strong, to update the policies. Just yeah, I think that's it, Mr. Pro.
Yeah.
And in addition,
Yes.
in the youth policies that we have in Tanzania, for instance, the last census was on 2002. So the police actually does not or it can't work on the population of uh, 15 millions that we have now. It has been created on the basis of 33 millions of people according to the population data of 2002. So if we want to achieve the youth development, it's where we change the policy to fit the population of 59 millions of people that we have in Tanzania. 59 millions of people that we have in Tanzania. For instance, the policy that we are using now of 2007, It says that the youth in Tanzania are of 35% only. But now it's really that we have the youth in 40 and above 40 plus percentage of Tanzania. So it can't work on the population of Tanzania unless we change this policy to feed the population of youth and population of people of Tanzania and other stakeholders. There, it will begin to make sense. So the issue is to change the policies, Mr. Pro, tubadilishe sera hizi tulizonazo ili ziendane na idadi ya watu, na hapo ndipo tutakapoanza kutengeneza msingi mzuri wa maendeleo.
That's good.
Yeah, another thing is what I call economic union.
Economic union.
Yes, this is economic union. This is an arrangement between two or more countries that allow goods, services, and people movement across the border freely. So this economic union, it actually explains about the free movement of goods, free movement of services, and free movement of people across the border. There's still problems in Africa, and this is very beautiful because if you want to develop as Africa, we need to make our borders simply administrative. Let us not just accommodate our borders as if we are told that these are ours, and without the borders we are not developing. Let us make the borders simply administrative. Let them be the administrative border. So once you're crossing the Namanga border from Tanzania, it's the issue that you will be changing is the administration status. Not that we are changing the culture, you are changing the networking surface and all that. Let the borders be ziwe tu za kiuongozi, mipaka yetu ya kiuongozi. Sasa hivi inakuwa ni ngumu sana katika mabara ya Afrika kuwa na free movement of goods or free movement of people. Mimi nitoke hapa kwenda Kenya either natumia ndege au natumia gari, lakini on the borders kuna tariffs. There are a lot of tariffs ambazo mimi kama mimi zitanisababisha nisiende katika nchi zingine. Sasa mimi nafikiria sehemu ambayo tutatengeneza economic union. Tukiwa na economic union, what we are creating there is the regional market. Tutakuwa tuna strengthening the regional market, tutakuwa tuna strengthening vitu kama hivyo ambavyo at the end time vitatusaidia kutuletea umoja. I have been saying on other platform that I'm just looking on Africa, of which just wake up in the morning and I have the shop in Kenya, I have the shop in Uganda, I have the shop in South Africa. So I just wake up in the morning, I get flight to South Africa, nothing happened. I attend my shop, I'm just doing my business, and late in the evening I go back to my mother country, nothing happened. This is what we call economic union. And the question is, can it be done? Yes, it can be done because we have the regional, we have the association, we have the integration, and this, I think, it is their role. They have role to play. So if one is to examine this issue, one must later come to realize that another problem that may arise there is the leadership. So we must choose the leaders which supports the economic union. And I think there's something that's called the PAP, Pan-African Parliament. On my view, I do not see the role that is going on there in Pan-African Parliament. We have East African Parliament, EALA. I don't see the role of that parliament, because what Nacho Kitamani mimi is to see the Pan-African Parliament is the overall parliament of all parliaments which are there in Africa. So once it decides something, kinaenda kina rule over African countries, all African countries. Hicho ndicho ninachokitazama. Sasa tutazame wale viongozi ambao watakuja kusupport economic union without their interest. So Mr.
Sorry, Mr. Chacha, your voice, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, what we are trying to say?
Uh, Another point was on education.
Education.
Africa must, yes, Africa must provide good education for its people. Abraham Tiro of South Africa said, "What is the value?" He was questioning about the value of education of Africa, and he said, "What is the value of education of South Africa if it's not connecting itself from other African countries?" So, what he was trying to say, Abraham Tiro, is that the value of education of Africa must be attained. It can be attained if it is connected to other African countries. So I think it was a joyful, by the way, it was joyful for 40 years, the past 40 years, for a Tanzanian to study in Makerere, Ugandan to study in Nairobi University, or Kenyan to study in Makerere or in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. But now wanafunzi wanasoma katika nchi zao, kwenda nje imekuwa ni ngumu sana. Elimu ili iwe nzuri ya Afrika inatakiwa iwe na flavor ya Africa. It must have the flavor of African education. Kwa hiyo tunapotengeneza elimu nzuri, Fela Kuti, huyo mwana sanaa wa Nigeria, aliwahi kusema ya kwamba teacher, don't teach me nonsense. And Professor Patrice Lumumba was emphasizing on that issue. He said we have to unlearn something that we learned if they are not useful or they are not helping us. So I think many African are in the process of learning something which they will not help them in the future time, or in the time to come. So the time has come that we must unlearn something that we learned, to just leave the empty mind to get new experience that will help Africa in the coming days. And when one talks about good education, ni lazima angalie the result that is always been brought by the educational system that we have in Africa. We are always producing engineers, but the Chinese are the one who building our roads. We are producing the doctors, but when we get sick, we run to London, we run to Lisbon, we run to Paris in France, and we believe them that they can cure our sickness. We believe them they can take away our problem. But the reality is that the education system does not support for Africa to just create and to generate the good professionals that will later help to solve the African problem. So we must train our people in a good manner so that in later they have the African solution to African problems. So this is about good education.
Yeah.
And if you want it to be good and to have the flavor of Africa, it must have been connected to other countries of Africa. Yeah, another issue is on the use of sports and music and all those, of which many youth of present or of this day that we are living now, they are being engaging themselves in sports and music. That's fine, but how are they using that talent that they have? How are they using the skills that they have?
Mm.
Are they using in a positive way? The answer is no, they are not using in a positive way. So I think the time has come. We must redirecting our sports and games. We must redirecting our music to help in just passing the understanding to other African countries.
Mhm.
The time has come that the sports that we are doing now must connect Tanzania to Kenya, must connect Kenya to Ghana, Ghana to Ethiopia, Ethiopia to South Africa. And lo and behold, the time will come, we'll be wondering how sports has been connected us to one another. So I think we must change the way we are playing with our sports. We are playing with the youth in the terms of in the issue of games, and we are praying with music. We must do this in a very helpful manner that will help to give disfering to Africans, and just build the bridge toward African unity. Another thing is the issue of language. This has been the problem from the very long.
Mm.
You know, language is the biggest link toward African unity. I think, let's take an example of Swahili language, which is nowadays being spoken by more than 200 millions of people. For instance, in East African community, there are more than I think more than 200 millions, yes, 200 millions of people in East African community, and in the worldwide, the people who are speaking Swahili are more than 200 millions of people speaking Swahili. So I think the time has come. We must create the Swahili language, as we must give it value for it to be help us in connecting us to other countries to other countries of Africa, so that in the later or the time to come, we find ourselves in a single room as Africa. I think Swahili and many others Africa can be the bridges to African unity. For instance, in East African community, the language that is widely spoken in the region is Swahili, apart from English. By the way, English is on my view, is not a good language. It's a poor language. It's a poor language because it receives vocabulary from the different languages. So I think it's time that has come that we must give value to our language of our own, Swahili of our own, Igbo, that of Yoruba, all language that comes from Africa. The time has come that we must give them value for them to connect, because it's very difficult to connect Tanzania to Kenya, Kenya to Uganda, Uganda to Congo, if the language is not the first, if the
Sure.
language is not spoken, if the language is different. So I think we must train ourselves on using just a single language, and that will begin to make sense. So, Mr. Paul,
Yeah.
this I think was the summary. I was trying to paraphrase, and the language is the problem. I think as we are speaking, as we are talking, we are getting experience of speaking this new language. It's not ours. Actually, we are not feeling good to speak this language.
For real, for real. I don't even feel comfortable using English language because once we try to speak the Swahili language, we're not going to get the audience. People will start to learn, now, but we don't have to ignore this language because it's an international language. All over the world, people are using English language to communicate. So we must use it so that we can spread even our message to the people. But the main thing or the main focus, as you said before, we Africans, we have to raise our own language. We have to have the language that is originated from Africa continent, the language that will unite, all Africans. And by the way, it's a Swahili language. Even though if it's not Swahili language, but we should find a language that is originated from Africa, so that we can use it to unite all Africans. So, Mr. Chacha, I thank you so much. You have mentioned things which are very important, so that everyone can understand from your perception, from the thing that you have measured, that's how we Africans are we going to achieve African unity. You mentioned the first thing that you have mentioned. You talked about the policy of our own country. That's each country from Africa to have to double check their policies, and so that we can do some amendments or some changes on the policy that we have in our own country, so that we can reach on that point of achieving African unity. Another thing that you have mentioned, you talked about the issue of economic union. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know how people say, but that's the main thing, that we have to unite. We have to unite our economic, like to have the connection of like trade exchange, like so that we can be unite our own economic and to achieve the African unity. You talked about the education, that the main thing, even though if we're going back on how we Africans how Africans countries are maintain to achieve their own independence, education was the first thing. And one of the things that I love you spoken about, that the education, it's have to have that taste of Africans. That's what nowadays the education that are in men from African countries likes. Like it lacks the taste of Africans. That's the only thing that the African country should achieve. That we have to have the education that have the taste of we Africans. If the culture, the language, whatever, but it must have that taste of Africans, so that we can achieve that unity. You mentioned about the sports and music. I think that's another thing that people don't even look on it, but it's the morning thing. It's a most very important thing that people should have put into consideration. Music and sports. Apart from that, even culture. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that we Africans should use it. Music and the sports. I think that's another thing that Africa we should look on it. So Mr. Chacha, before sijapitia comments za wadau hapa na kujua ni mchango gani kile ambacho nakizungumzia, I see people are just commenting on the comment section on their views on how are we going to achieve this, how we Africans are we going to achieve this this African unity. So while you are keep on commenting, I just want you to like this video, to subscribe our YouTube channel, and to share this message so that the whole Africa should know. So if even though you have anything to say, like you want to contribute to you want to you want to share the view or the thing that you wish to say, that how we Africans are we going to achieve, you can click the link on the comment section and you can join with us and share your own view. That's how we Africans are we going to achieve African unity. So Mr. Chacha, one more question. I just want to know the main thing. I know there is a lot of things that we African we should follow, like one of the things that you have mentioned, like how are we going to achieve the unity. So I just want to know that's the key things that we Africans we should have so that we can achieve that unity. Like you mentioned, that's a language. I think a language is one of the key things that's we Africans should adopt, like to achieve the African unity. Another one in the comment section say that like we Africans we should have common currency. Do you think that can work? That we Africans in order to achieve African unity we should have common currency. How do you say on that, Mr. Chacha?
Yeah, first of all namshukuru aliyesema kuhusu common currency na common currency kwa Afrika ni swala ambalo ni nyeti sana. Ni swala ambalo ni nyeti kwa sababu wanasema kwamba sasa hivi we have what we call Burundian franc, we have Ugandan shillings, we have Kenyan shillings, we have Tanzanian shillings. In the single regions tunazo currency nyingi katika regions of which they are useless. They are useless kwa sababu leo hii nikichukua Tanzanian shillings zangu nikaenda nazo Kenya, nikifika Kenya huko hazitumiki kabisa. I have to change them. Na kama hakukuwa na namna ya kuchange zinabaki tu pale, sadly useless, hazitumiki tena unless I go back to my own country. Sasa nafikiri common currency ni kitu cha msingi sana. We have to have fedha ambayo ni moja kwa regions, na hii it can be done kwa sababu we have integrations. We have East African Community, tunaweza tukatengeneza fedha moja, fedha labda iitwayo East African currency, tukawa nao tukatumia as a region of East Africa. SADC wakafanya the same, COMESA wakafanya the same, Maghreb wakafanya the same. Mwisho wa siku when it comes to 263 tunakuwa tuna currency moja ambayo inakuwa ni rahisi sana kuunganisha SADC, ECOWAS, COMESA, nini, Maghreb kuwa Afrika moja, au ama katika vile vitu kuja kuwa na currency moja ya Afrika, of which tunaweza tukaita Afro currency. These are the ideas of some people. Tutakuwa tunatumia fedha. Sasa fedha ni kitu cha muhimu sana, kwa sababu mwisho wa siku hatuwezi tukaendelea, and this is in swala la fedha is the part of economic union. So mwisho wa siku hata tukihitaji ku strengthening masoko yetu ni lazima tuwe na one currency. I think that's the very biggest point. Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Paul.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Mr. Chacha. So I just want to say thank you for the super chat. I can see kuna mtu ambaye ame donate $9. It's $9. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate, we Swahili Nation. Thank you so much. And kwa wale ambao bado hawaja au unatamani, like you wish to do something for Swahili Nation and One Africa, or you believe on what Swahili Nation and One Africa they are doing, you can support us by subscribing our channel, our YouTube channel, share this video, like it, and don't forget to donate any amount of money that you have. You can use the link of GoFundMe. It's already on the page. You can use that to donate an amount of money that you have for Swahili Nation and One Africa's offices. So, Mr. Chacha, like, ukiwa unaangalia, like, if you look on this movement, because as you say, the area that's no matter what, we Africans, we have to achieve this unit. Mr. Chacha, no matter what, we Africans. Mr. Chacha, I don't know if you're listening to me.
Yes, brother, yes.
Like, as you say, the area, like you said, unity for we Africans, it's something that's very important, and it's something that we have to achieve no matter what. It's very important. It's constant. Like, we Africans, we need unity for our own prosperity. So once you look on this generation of youth, especially here in Tanzania, what are we supposed to, like, well, unaona like vijana jinsi walivyo, ni namna gani ambavyo, like, we can involve them on this movements of achieving African unity, or ni kundi ambalo au tunapaswa kuliacha, au it's a group, like we have to move together?
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Vijana ni kundi ambalo ni muhimu sana, na ni kundi ambalo ndilo kilio changu na ndilo kilio cha watu wengi sana. Ni kilio cha watu wengi kwa sababu mwisho wa siku wazee tulionao ambao ni viongozi wengi watapita. Vijana wanatakiwa kuchukua nafasi hizo ambazo zipo. Sasa wasipojifunza sasa hivi mambo haya, baadaye watafanya kitu ambacho kitakuwa ni huzuni kwa taifa hili na huzuni kwa Afrika. Kwa hiyo vijana ni watu ambao wanatakiwa kuhusishwa. Vijana ni watu ambao wanatakiwa kuambiwa leadership ni muhimu sana kuliko michezo. Sports ni muhimu, lakini leadership ni muhimu sana, kwa sababu ndio inayohusika na maamuzi ya usio wa maendeleo ya taifa na maendeleo ya bara letu. Kwa hiyo wajihusishe katika namna mbalimbali. Vijana ndio hawa wanatakiwa ku rise mambo yanapotokea mabaya katika nchi zao. Wasitegemee kwamba tuna viongozi tu, lakini kama wapo wao wanatakiwa wafanye pia kitu ambacho kitasaidia uongozi kuwa katika mstari ambao ni mzuri. Lakini hawa wakiona mambo na mfano kama sera yetu ya Tanzania ipo, lakini muda mrefu haijabadilishwa na ilikuwa na tatizo, wasipozungumza vijana tunakuwa na tatizo vijana hawa. Vijana hawa wanatakiwa wapende bara lao. Kwa hiyo vijana hawa sio wa kuachwa nyuma, ndio wakwenda nao mbele, na kama ikibidi watangulie mbele ya mstari, kwa sababu hawa ndio kila kitu, hao ndio taifa la kesho.
Oh, thank you so much Mr. Chacha, thank you so much. Naona tuna muda. So mida ya saa 4 kamili on 4 a.m. Mwenda Tezu will be here running the session. So now we are on the end of closing the session. So I just want to insist again, like if you have something to share with us, like how we Africans are we going to achieve our African unity, you can join with us and let's have let's us hear from your own perspective. So Mr. Chacha, like before we are going to close this session, what is your in your mind, like you can say something, the words of conclusion before we are going to close this session for 3 or 7 minutes.
First of all, I should just give out the word of thanks to you, Mr. Paul, and for the rest of the people, we have the individual responsibility. Wanasema kwamba kama tunahitaji kuendelea mbele, kila mmoja anatakiwa afahamu ya kwamba destiny ya maisha yake iko kwake yeye mwenyewe. Kwa hiyo yeye mwenyewe anatakiwa ajue kwamba ana jukumu la kufanya, asisubiri tu viongozi waje wafanye, au asiishi kwa kusubiri ya kwamba wako watu watakao kuja kufanya maamuzi ya maisha yake. Nilikuwa nakutolea mfano siku moja, nafikiri brother Paul, kama sio wewe, ya kwamba unaweza ukakuta kuna agreements zinapitishwa on how we can make the world.
Sorry Mr. Chacha. Okay. I see one of our sister BJ. BJ, welcome so much.
Oh, hi you guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we are doing good. You?
Yeah, I'm loving the topic. And EE, who's been in the comment, has had some really great, ideals. Sure. I mean, I'm loving it. I mean, you guys were saying, how to collaborate. Is there a way at the borders? Because to me, the borders are always the easiest stream of transit. Can you develop some sort of common, whether it's farming or technology or even teaching, like you're saying 2 different languages. Can someone over in Kenya, come over to Tanzania, to do some sort of collaboration? Because it always spearheads from the bottom. The government is going to do it until the people start doing it and the people start demanding it. And then the government say, oh, I've come up with a great idea. We're going to now have this cross collaboration between the 2 countries and blah, blah, blah. And then they take all the credit. They don't, most of the time spearhead anything. But if it's an easy way to start building on that, and then with this exchange, you got the food. Well, how do you do things here? How do you do their things there? Oh, well, here in Kenya, we make this dish doing this, and that. They take it back to Tanzania. Everybody started making that dish and say, where you get it from? Those common things are what builds relationships and pull down the fear among us. I don't trust them. I don't know about that. They're different. No, when you find that commonality, it builds a bridge that can't be broken.
Sure. That's great. That's good. Thank you so much, BJ, for your word.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, okay, fine. Because we are likely going to end this session. I just want, we are remaining with it's 20 minutes, by the way, it's 20 minutes. So I just want to have people who are going to make us living here. Just want even one or one person to donate, even one, €5 for our page of GoFundMe page. Then we'll be living here. And then I want people to mention some words if you want to learn some Swahili words. And Mr. Chacha, I know he's here. He'll be translating like a little bit. So if you just want to know like any words of English, then any words of Swahili, the meaning, then comment down in the comment section, then we'll be
Okay.
translating.
Well, can I ask for one?
Yeah,
We
yes.
must love each other. How do I say that in Swahili?
Mr. Chacha, can you answer her?
Yes.
We must love each other.
In Swahili, how do we say it?
Oh, we must love each other in Swahili.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lazima tupendane.
Yeah, tunapaswa kupendana. Tunapaswa kupendana.
Okay. Okay. Slow down for me a little bit so I can figure out.
Tunapaswa.
Tunapaswa.
Yeah, exactly. Tupendane.
Tupandani. Tumaspaswa. Tumapandani.
No, come on. Let's do it again. Tunapaswa tupendane.
Tunapaswa tumpadani.
Tupendane.
Tupandani.
Yeah, tupendane.
Tupandani.
That's good. Tunapaswa tupendane.
Tunapaswa tupandani.
Yeah, someone commented there on the comment section how it's pronounced, like lazima tupendane. No, yeah. We must love each other. Lazima tupendane. I don't think if it's like on that way. Lazima tupendane. No, tunapaswa. That's a correct Swahili. Like tunapaswa, it's a correct Swahili language. Like tunapaswa tupendane. Sio lazima tupendane. That's not the correct. I'm sorry, but that's not a correct Swahili language. Tunapaswa tupendane. Sio lazima tupendane. We must love each other. Like tunapaswa tupendane. Can you say it again?
Tumapaswa tupandani.
That's great.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
I'm waiting.
Wonderful
for
topic.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate for coming in again.
Oh yes, and we stay on the trail. Stay on the trails.
Thank you. So we have remained with 7 minutes. I'm waiting for someone to donate €5 on GoFundMe page. €5, only €5. Then we'll be leaving here. €5. 7 minutes remain, and then I'm waiting for another words here. If you wanna know any Swahili words, just comment on the comment section, and then we'll be telling you how it is there on the comment section. 7 minutes waiting for €5 on GoFundMe page, and 7 minutes waiting for someone want to learn Swahili language. 7 minutes. Me and Chacha here will be here telling you how exactly words is supposed to be. 7 minutes. And by the way, Mwandatez will be here soon. So after this session, Mwandatez will be joining with us. Mwandatez will be having his own session. Waiting, guys. You don't want to know some Swahili language, some Swahili words? Yeah, I see Nathan. Nathan anasema tunapaswa tupendane. Exactly, that's how it's supposed to be. Tunapaswa tupendane. And nakupenda we nakutaka. That's a verse from one of the songs that I know. Nakupenda we nakutaka we. Ako singeweza oh my. That's a song from one of the artists from Tanzania. So thank you so much. Bravo BJ, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Mwendatezi anatingiza mti. Okay. Mwendatezi anatingiza mti. What were you trying to say? Okay. Thank you. So, family, I'm waiting here I've already 5 minutes remain. 5 minutes remain. Someone need to make us live here in a peaceful way. And like I just want to live here with me and Mr. Chacha with a good smile on our face with €5 on the GoFundMe page. The link is on the comment section. Let me share it again. Let me share it again, the link of GoFundMe page. I need someone to donate only €5. Then I'll be going with full of smile. Yeah, so someone, hey family, mtu atutoe na only €5, then we'll be off. I'll be waiting here. And if you wanna know any Swahili language, any Swahili word, then say you can mention it, the word that you want to know, then I'll be translating. So before that, I'll be try, like, if you want to know, maybe, okay, this one said kutingiza mti is the motto of Mwenda Tezi's political party. Labda umesikia kuhusu waja. Oh, now I got you. Nimekupata Nathaniel Samson Wajakoya kutoka na nimekupata. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for your translation. I got you. Yeah, I got you, Nathaniel. Okay. How are you? We are okay. Desta, we are good. How are you? If you want to say how are you, in Swahili language, we say mambo vipi, habari yako. You can, like, in a formal way, you can say habari yako. How are you? Habari yako. Habari yako in a Swahili language. Habari yako. Yeah, Desta from Ethiopia. Thank you so much for joining with us. Okay. Thank you so much, BJ. Thank you so much. I know you are not going to forget it. Tunapaswa tupendane, BJ. Again, tunapaswa tupendane. That's how it is. Thank you so much. So only €5. €5. I can see I'm running out of the time. Only 2 minutes remain. 2 minutes remain. 2 minutes remain. I'm waiting for someone to donate only €5. Then I'll be closing the session and to let Mr. Mwenda Tez to have his show after my session. Sema shikamo for elders. Shikamo for elders. Sema shikamo for elders. Shikamo for elders. It's like good morning, like good evening. That's how it is. You know, shikamo. I don't think if shikamo is an English word. Yeah. Yeah. Desta, thank you so much. It's a good idea. Thank you. I'm waiting, guys. I'm waiting here. 1 minute remain. I'm waiting for someone to donate €5 for Swahili Nation and One Africa's offices. €5. Only €5. Even €1. €1, €2, €3, €5. €5. So then I'll be closing the session and to allow Mr. Mwenda Teze to join to do his show. I'm still refreshing the page, but I don't see anyone donating. But I'll be here waiting. Anyone? Okay, if you want to say I love you in Swahili, if you want to say I love you in Swahili, we say nakupenda. That's another word. Nakupenda. I love you in Swahili, we say nakupenda. Nakupenda. If you want to say I love you to someone, in Swahili we say nakupenda. That's how we say nakupenda. And if you want to say I don't love you, I don't love you, in Swahili we say sikupendi. Sikupendi. Yes, Legmon Music, nakupenda. Nakupenda. In English we say I love you. And if you want to say I don't like you or I don't love you, we say sikupendi. That's how we say in Swahili language. Data. Exactly. Thank you. Yes, sikupendi. That's good. So my time is out. Let me see if anyone have already donated here. No one. So thank you so much. And now I'll be going to close the session. Hey, Biggie. Hey, Biggie.
Yes, give me a minute.
Yeah, you're welcome. So soon I'll be going to close the session.
I got 2 meetings going. That's why.
Okay. Okay. Let's see when the test is going to be going right. I think when the test is waiting us to close the session, so we have to do it real quick. Kwaheri. Oh, Kwaheri, Reggae Music, Kwaheri in English we say goodbye. Goodbye. Bye bye. Thank you. I was waiting here for someone to donate even €1, then I'll be closing the session. Let's wait for Biggie here while I'm waiting for someone to donate. Nathaniel at Poe, asante sana kwa kazi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nathaniel Samson. Thank you so much. I love you, bro. I love you so much. Thank you. You're most welcome always on Swahili Session, Swahili Nation. That's good. And reminding you people, if you have anything, if you have any inquiries, like you want to say something or you want to do something for Swahili Nation or One Africa, or you want to collaborate, you can send a message through that email, and then it'll be back to you. Or you can just follow or DM us on our social media, on our social network, on Instagram, official Swahili Nation, or One Africa Official. So
yes, sorry about that, Paul.
Yeah,
I couldn't talk at the same time. I had a couple of meetings going at the same time, so forgive me that I just missed that one. I think Monetezi is going to be on.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
So we can close the session. Oh.
Yeah, and follow up with Monetezi.
Yeah, sure. So we have
to put the link. Monetezi is a link, so everybody can follow for the next session.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see if I can do that. I'll find it.
If you can get an access of that and put there on the comment section so people can
correct.
Join. One love, one love, one love. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Mr. Shasha, do you have anything to say? We are tunaelekea to close the session. Upendo na hekima kwa kaka Biggie. Yeah. Kabisa.
Today's kind of busy day for me. Got all these sessions.
Yeah. Nathaniel Samson, yes. Mi nipo da bana, nipo da hapa Tanzania. That's my beautiful city. So Nathaniel, if you wanna see me, I'm here in Dar es Salaam. You're most welcome. And by the way, you can follow me on Instagram. I use Paul Justin _TZ. You can follow me. You can hear me. If you wanna meet with me here in Dar es Salaam, it's all.
I just put the link of Montezi.
Yeah,
sure. And we'll go from there. And thank you so much.
Okay, family, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for your comments. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much, Mr. Chacha. I know Mr. Chacha have already gone, but thank you so much. I appreciate what you are doing for Swahili Nation One Africa. One more thing again, I want you, family, to subscribe our channel, our YouTube channel, Swahili Nation, and to follow us on our social network, on social media. We're always updating all the news that are in Tanzania, found in Africa. So follow on Instagram, we use Swahili Nation, official Swahili Nation, and we have another account which is One Africa official. So you can follow up with that on Twitter. Again, we use Swahili Nation. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate for your time. Let's meet another time. I love you so much. Thank you, Mr. Nathaniel. Let's meet another time. Mondays, we'll be having a show soon. So let's join him. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you so much.
So the lie began from the very beginning of time, right? And I can ask you one question right now. What does history tell you about Africa? Who discovered Africa? If you write right now on Google who discovered Africa, you find out that is one white man that he came and discovered Africa. And you can ask yourself that how can you discover a place that already exists? How can you discover a place that people already live in that place? It is impossible, but that's what the history tells us. That's what people believe about Africa, that it was discovered by a white man. This guy, he came, and then he went back, he gave a report, and then the next we know is colonialism, because those guys, they sat somewhere to divide Africa like a piece of cake, because they discovered it, they own it, it belonged to them. But that is us. We discovered, we're the first people to know. And today you have a lot of people around the world that they think that Africa was discovered by them.